Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to another video with me, and today I'm going to share with you how I created this simple but little card full of love using some of the new release stamps from Lavinia. We've got the medium swing, we've got the large swing, we've got the gorgeous little Pipin, who's a favourite of many, something from the Heartfelt Verses set. I'm using white orb stencil, and then one stamp from the pound range, which is miniature stars. The colours that I'm going to be using, I've got Nocturne, Cheerful, Wilted Violet and Mustard Seed. I'm going to be using a variety of blending brushes and sponges, and as I said, one stencil, which is white orbs. You'll have seen me use this before. I love it. You've got the large circles on one side, the smaller circles on the other, giving you quite a lot of versatility there. So the size, the topper that I'm going to be using here. Oh, let me show you. In the inside, I've created a little insert. Sometimes it's quite nice just to give a bit of something extra, and you can write your sentiment in there. So the topper that I'm going to be using here is 9 centimetres by 13 centimetres, which in inches is 3.5 inches by 5 1/16. I'm not great with inches, but I saw somebody ask for inches, so I'll do it when I remember. And then the background card that I'm using, giving it a bit of a border here, ended up being 10.5 centimetres by 14.3, or in inches, that's 4 1/16, and just over 5.5 inches. Like I say, I'm not great with inches, but... And then in the inside, I've created this lovely little decoration there, and you can type your sentiment in there. So I've got these lovely little stars and this gorgeous little Pipin, and I've just grounded him with some pencil crayon. So we'll get started. As I said, the topper that I'm using is 9 centimetres by 13. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our medium swing and we're going to ink it up with Nocturne. This is a really lovely, delicate little stamp. And I'm just going to pop it with a tiny bit of the hanging bit off the edge, so you've got a nice bit of base underneath here. And then I'm going to take my large swing and do the same, ink it up, and then I'm just going to eyeball it so that we have it surrounding that medium swing. Lovely. I'm just going to clean off that mat so that it doesn't get... There we go. Then I'm going to take my little Pipin. He is such a gorgeous little hare. He's only 2.5 centimetres tall, which is 1 inch tall. So I think he's a must. And we're going to pop him just sitting on one of those swirls in the medium swing. I'm just going to give that a blast with a heat gun, so when I put my stencil over it, I don't smudge it. It shouldn't smudge, but you never know. And I just flicked it over the back so that, because the card started to curl a bit, and so it curled backwards. Right. So I'm using the part of the stencil with the small orbs on it, and I'm going to use one of my lovely Lavinia brushes. It's nice and soft. Placing the small orbs over my design. There we go. And I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to press harder towards the inside, and then as I go towards the edge, it's going to be a bit softer. So they're sort of fading out. You can see I'm not being too careful here. And we can always go back in, and I'm not going right to the edge. There we go. Isn't that just cute? Now, I've got to move it because I want a couple of extra orbs on the edge here. And one over there. Isn't that sweet? Then I'm going to take my miniature star stamp and VersaFine Clear Cheerful and just stamp some of these lovely little stars. So I'm going to position this one so that he's looking at that star. There we go. And then the rest of them, just going to put randomly in between the circles around the card. It's just giving it a whole magical little feel to the whole thing. There we go. Little Pipin with some magic. Then I'm going to take the Heartfelt Verses stamp, which says With Love and Sympathy, and I'm just going to use the With Love bit by inking it up and then putting a bit of tape over the piece that I don't want to use. And I'm just going to stamp it bottom right. That will give us a bit of balance to the whole design. Then Wilted Violet. Now I've chosen this colour. You can use any colour because you can see now you can change it so that you get a harmonious blend, or as I've done, giving you a complete contrast so that it's super bright. I'm going to take my smoothie, pop it in here, cover my work with some paper, making sure I haven't got too much. I don't want too much ink on here because I'm trying to make this a really soft, loving little card. And I'm moving this blending sponge in a circular motion all the way around the edge of the card. So there you have it. If you wanted it a bit darker, go over it again, sticks to the edges, but I quite liked that soft little look. Now I'm going to talk to you about how I mounted it and then doing the insert. So I just cut my piece of card so that I had a little border around the edge. I'm going to glue that in place. So this is how I glue it, just an very organised, isn't it? Scribble, scribble. And I'm just going to take off the blobs. That's a technical term, did you know? The blobs. And then I'm just going to place it. The lovely thing about this glue is that you've got a few seconds to manoeuvre it into place. And I'm just going to use a piece of card over the top or paper. That way, if I've got any ink on my fingers, I'm not going to transfer it to my card. Voila. And now for the insert. So I just took a piece of copy paper, folded it in half. When I folded my card, I used a scoreboard. but for this paper, because it's so fine, not really. I'm going to place it in here. Then I'm going to use my pencil. I just eyeball it. I don't measure it. And then I'm just going to cut that to size. So here it is, cut to size. And before I stick it into my card, I'm going to decorate it. So I'm going to take some of my little miniature stars and I'm going to go around the edge, the top right edge here, and I'm going to put some of these stars further in than the others, and some of them I'm going to just drape off the edge. So those are my little stars, and then I'm going to take my little Pipin, ink him up again, pop him in bottom left. And then I'm just going to ground him. This is just a piece, black pencil, crayon. You can use some charcoal and just randomly give him something to sit upon so that he's not hanging in midair. Making sure that my join is crisp and sharp. And then I'm going to take my tape, cut a tiny bit off, place it onto the back, and then to put it in place, I'm going to hold it in place and then just gently fold over the card. And that way you get a bit of a gap where you folded it and nothing's in the wrong place. So there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to see what you make. Please tag me so that I can congratulate all your efforts. It's lovely to see that you craft along with us as we inspire you with some of the new designs. So thanks so much. I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.